Welcome to Down the Vale, our latest episode here at Taylor Talks Trades. We're in this wonderful podcast suite again. We are joined by one of our media team, kind of head of graphics,
just anything,
head of everything. But we're joined by David Badura. You can check out everything that Taylor Talks Trades and Taylor Roofs do down below in our description box. David, welcome. How are you?
I'm good, Connor. Thanks for having me on. It's a bit of a surreal one. People wanting to listen to me.
Absolutely. I'm quite looking forward to it because it's going to give a different kind of perspective on kind of what does happen actually behind the scenes in terms of build-ups and everything else. And it's good to get to know people away from the 90 minutes that we have and many Twitter errors and everything that comes out. To be fair, mine was mistakes. The last one. So.
Spelling mistakes. Yeah, I know.
That Ayr United one, this 92nd minute. But
that's just the norm, I think.
Does that get me on the wall?
What's that?
That spelling error.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think when it hits over, 100,000 impressions, I think it's definitely no far off it. Class. But Dave still has the record, I think.
I think he does. I think he does. Let's talk football first before we actually get into the kind of media stuff. You're obviously a Livingston supporter, local lad. Give me your thoughts on the season so far.
No, I've fairly enjoyed the season. I think obviously with the last season it was very difficult, even from a media side of things and the fan side of things. It was very hard. No one wants to lose games of football, and probably did we deserve to lose that many games of football? Probably not, but that's how football works, unfortunately. So this season's been sort of good. There's been a lot of highs, obviously a couple of lows, but as a fan I've fairly enjoyed it. I know we've been in the Premier for 6 years, but going back to new places, like I'm a big fan of Capello, I love Somerset Park, I love these places, and a wee bit of character about
old school grounds.
Yeah, I know you don't want to visit these places because you're obviously further down the leagues, but yeah, I love it. I love going to new places, so it's good. I've fairly enjoyed it, and the guys have been fairly consistent and pretty good. I think, what was it, 7 defeats, and I think 4 of them were 1-0 defeats at home. That I think we can all argue that a wee bit of rub of the green, and there are draws or victories, but it's been fairly good, and even from both sides, I think for me it's just like it's been nice.
That's it. I mean, results have obviously picked up this season. We've performed relatively well in the playoffs, kind of semi-final, so we get to avoid the quarter switches tonight, which is nice. But what about the change of squad? So obviously in terms of the actual media perspective, there was a large change turnover in the summer. The guys have been really engaging this year, and it just allows you to kind of fire out better content, isn't it?
Yeah, no, well, obviously it's quite, you're building relationships with players, you're trying to gain their trust. So obviously the guys that, some of the guys you're instantly, you get to know them, you get to, they trust you, and it's a two-way thing, and I get it. It's obviously we're coming into their lives and they're coming to our club. There's a bit of both. But obviously with the change in personnel, I think was there 11, 12 signings potentially. I think something it was.
Like that, yeah.
So there's 11 new guys to know. There's probably 12, 13 guys that are already here, but that you've probably got big relationships, small relationships. So it's good to build these up, and that's always difficult because some people are a wee bit more reserved, others are a wee bit outgoing, which is fair enough. No one's as reserved as Scott Pittman, so we're used to that. You're used to that, but I think even from dealing with them in media and press and everything in between and promotional stuff, like you get to know the guys that are sort of keen and maybe not so keen, or they can talk, they can't talk, or they're fine for anything else other than maybe on camera. So again, you've got to, it's probably a long process of learning, but I think it's quite fun. And to be fair, all the guys that have came in have been absolutely superb, and they've been really easy to work with. And I know probably not a lot of people know, but we've now got a dedicated media room, as in like for studio shoots and that side of things. So again, the players know that's where to go, that's where it is. And I know people know about the gym, but there was an extension, and now the guys are over there more often, which is beside the media room. So it's just through the door, and
a wee bit more on hand to be able to grab them. And
exactly, so it makes it a wee bit more accessible. And I think even sort of long term, the guys that have been here maybe 2 or 3 years, last year. They sort of know what's expected of them, what's sort of happened, and even away from that, like at the stadium, you know, the guys have been going to camps, they've been going out, they've been going to schools, they've been doing a wee bit more
visits at Christmas and things.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot, which is when you're asking them to come in and train and then go away, and they've got families and commitments, and then you're asking them to do other things away from that. And to be fair, for what I've seen, they've always been very open and very engaging with that sort of thing, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. Can fully agree. Very quickly before we move on, what has been your favourite moment on the pitch this season?
Oh, favourite moment?
It's not on the list, I just made that up.
What would be my favourite moment? On the spot, I mean, Robbie Muirhead's free kick was pretty special. Yeah, I did fairly enjoy that. That was good.
Getting pies thrown at you at Falkirk away, was it? Beaten to...
Oh, that was I was close to the pie that got flung at me. Yeah, but I mean, I would have just ate it, to be fair. But
I think got sauce.
Tomato. But Ross County, I think that was, the trip up, the staying over, the Premier League team. I think it was that whole, this is where we were, this is where we're at now, and we can go up and compete and be done very well. And obviously, last minute winners. There's no better thing, and a wee bit of rugby the green. So it's a toss up between Ayr United away 2-1 Robbie Muirhead free kick. Yep. Superb. I mean, that was the first time I knew that a press box was neutral when I'm going Tonto. We just scored a goal last minute against our biggest rivals at that point, and you just like, oh right, I never knew it was neutral, but it's not. But that Ross County, I think both times things got flung about in me.
Nothing better than a last minute winner, to be fair. There's been a
few
this season.
Yeah.
There has been.
Not so much for easy when the tweets when you're you're trying to celebrate and then tell people what's happened. So yeah, that was fun.
Absolutely. I actually obviously commentated from roughly where you sit this season. I kind of sat there last season, and any last minute winners was a reporter's like nightmare almost, because they've got their stuff ready to hit send, and there's a last minute winner and they're frantically type in front of you and things. It's quite entertaining to see.
So it's fun.
How did you get into the media stuff? How did it start?
Probably by chance, I think. I think it was just maybe before COVID. I think that so before Dave was looking for somebody to do the graphics, and I say this to anyone: is start fairly small, go to your local club, see if you can help. So I went to Stonyburn to help out over at Stonyburn. It was Sharpie over there that was taking Stonyburn, and Jamie McQueen was at Edinburgh United. And I'd done a few bits, and I was just on Twitter being like, oh, I can do this. And then they said, we're looking for something. So we're looking for something. And I said, that's fine, I can help. I'm not doing anything. That's brilliant. So I done a few bits and bobs, and my big thing was branding a football club. That was like my bucket list. I want to do this. It would be superb. So I helped out Stonyburn, helped out Edinburgh United. They loved the stuff. And then Dave was looking for somebody who's like, look, our guy's left. Is there any scope that you would be like? Absolutely. What do you need? Club. Just the team I support, loved it. And again, it was at that point, it wasn't about branding, it was just helping out. Like, I think it was just like coming out the tail end of COVID. I think that was when it was. Because I remember my first official game as like coming in, sort of at that point, it was just the graphics. It was Alloa away. That was the first game I had. I think it was maybe Bruce Anderson's first game. That
sort of period.
Yeah, and and then it was just like, can you do like a match day? I was like, oh yeah, of course I'll do whatever. And then it just sort of spiraled. It was like, what about the match day? What about the next game? What about during the games? What about any other stuff? And it just sort of snowballed. And I always say to people whenever people come and ask for advice, and just make yourself valuable. Yeah. Do more than what you're do more than what you're paid for, but no payment there other than going to games. And I was just like, superb. Like, if I can go to all the games, then brilliant. And then so came and done the graphics, helped Dave out, and I think at that point Blair had just came on board and Halford just came on board, so they were sort of relatively new as well. So I'd came into that team, so they'd been there maybe just over a month or something. So I'd came in, starting as the graphics, straight into the WhatsApp chat, straight in, no messing about. Come on, let's liven this place up. So had a bit of fun with them. I was just like, I'm just here to have fun, really.
Absolutely.
So anyway, got to meet the guys. Had a brilliant relationship since, and then one thing led to another. I'd always taken on more and more roles and responsibilities, and I think you could probably say that I'm one of those guys that's willing to help out wherever, whenever.
Yep.
And then it sort of went from doing a wee bit of graphics, helping out with sort of other things, creative strategy, all the pillars and boring stuff and all that sort of stuff, and helping out with Blair and Mike, and then we took on the women's team stuff, so we helped out there. So me and Blair were actually running the women's team stuff. So even off the back of that, I got a job at Broxburn off the back of that because they loved the women's stuff. But me and
sensational, to be fair.
Yeah, so it was really good, and me and Blair sort of took it on ourselves, and we done the women's stuff because it was a whole one club, one united. Like again, we were just volunteering, just doing that, which is great. And Mike was, I mean, he's still a massive advocate of women's football. Yeah. To this day, which is good to see. His enthusiasm for it's never waned. It's been superb. And then, so I got a paid gig off the back of it, which was I never thought would ever happen. And then, Dave was obviously going from the Twitter guy to CEO of the football club, like having the CEO tweeting out stuff, which is fair enough. Like moving on, and he had obviously seen what I'd done with the women's stuff, and he was quite keen to pass on. And then so the probably the big thing is what I've learned for like probably the football club, Dave is probably like the trust and loyalty. I think that's a massive thing. And like, let's be honest, like having ownership of social media accounts is a big thing. Like, doesn't matter what you say, how you say it, whatever you're putting out, it gets scrutinised. People look at it, they dissect it, and it's going to be your own fans, it's going to be other teams' fans, and I get it. There's a massive, massive thing, so I don't think people realise how big it is. So off the back of that, Dave probably felt he was in a position that he could trust me with it, which I'm still grateful for. And
especially in this day and age, in terms of kind of bookmark screenshots, everything else that kind of comes with that. Something's going to come back and bite you eventually, and
there's always a tweet.
We're in that period just now of the kind of Grangemouth stuff, and obviously Falkirk have just went to win the league, which fair play to them, but there's been a lot come back at us the last couple of days, hasn't there?
Look, I always say that though. It's
fun.
And
it's not personal.
It's never personal, and I'd probably want to be a catalyst that encourages more fun and a wee bit more play. I think Falkirk and Wraith had a wee bit about the Falkirk tears and a wee bit of fun, and what about this for your documentary for Partick, and look, I get it, it's good, but I think there needs to be more of that, and even for me, do not take it personally, and like clubs want that. Like I was playing in my head, you've got two sides of the scale of this, and there's probably no in between. The admin to get a raise is probably one end, and the other one is you're just getting absolutely battered pillar to post. Which is, I mean, just depending on what it is, there's no end between. And I get it. Like one thing you're amazing, the other thing you're the worst guy in the world. So sorry, digressing all the way back to, so there was a trust in having that, and then there was an element of press conferences, which I mean, Davey will tell you, he absolutely hates dealing with me. I hate doing press conferences. It's like a hate-hate relationship. So it's been good, and I've taken that on, and I think hopefully people have sort of enjoyed the content that's been put out. But I think just by taking on more responsibilities and probably showing a wee bit of loyalty and trust that we've got to where we are.
Absolutely. That media team has grown massively. You said you guys were the kind of OGs, yourself, Blair, Halfie, Dave. I'd kind of Callum Brown into the mix, replaced by Sean Hildebrand, replaced by myself. But then you're adding in kind of Scott, for example, who come in and done bits. Then you had Adele helping you with graphics. You've got Spud and Scott and Camera Mark, and there's so many people within that kind of environment now as well. is that nice to see because it means things are kind of going well and we can capture so much more content?
It just means less work for me, I think. I think that's the main thing. Nah, to be fair, everyone that's came in has been absolutely superb, and I think with the media team growing, there's always an element of people have not got the same personalities. They're doing like different things and
all different skills,
commitment levels as well. And to be fair, most of them are fans, and if they're no fans, they turn into fans, which is probably quite nice. But I think
that did get me.
No, we didn't want you. But again, people buy in, and it's good to see, and that's what we want. And it's like we get it. No, Livingston don't have a massive fan base, and like getting good quality volunteers off the back of that it's going to be
challenging.
Yeah, it will be. But I think, like for yourself, no, not divulging your team, but again, came in.
Most people know it's
done good work, and it's been incredible to see the growth and what we've got. I think Michael Hult's not a Livingston fan. I don't think he's even a fan of anybody, to be fair. Scott came in, done some camera work, and now he's got, I think it's full-time gig at Hibs now.
Full-time gig at Hibs for the men's team, so I think he was doing some women's stuff, and he's just been...
He was in the community as well, and some of his stuff was superb. And I don't think people realise that when people come in to volunteer and help, and I can't speak for other clubs, but the amount of work and people that appreciate everything that goes on, people have got gigs off the back of it.
I think Adele, for example, works for Nordan now, I think.
Yeah, so after all her amazing work, very, very, very talented individual, and some of the stuff she produced was incredible. And
straight into a paid gig now that she enjoys and loves and everything else, off volunteering for 12 months.
Coming in and helping out, and superb, and took it to the next level, and the dedication and everything that she put in it was superb. So you've got Adele, obviously Mike's, got Crystal Palace, he's at Hibs Women, he's got freelance stuff, which is obviously superb. Arwen, yep, I think she's working at SNS now. She's come off the back of coming and helping and supporting, and it's just good to see. I think one of the big things is, and I wish more people were like it, it's just like seeing other people's successes. I think that's quite good and important. Even Aaron came in and done the matchday graphics sort of this season. I think everyone liked it apart from the elf. some people liked it, some people didn't. But I think having free reign, and he was saying that he got an interview with Celtic off the back of it after his good work, and which is superb. I don't think he got the gig, but again, superb.
Potential opportunity though.
Yeah, and that he got turned down by a Lowland League club because they were sort of going with somebody else, and he had done a full rebrand. And as you do as a graphic designer, you rebrand. Yeah. Hopefully somebody might snap your hand off to get it and then get involved. And I said, Aaron, look, if you want to come in and support and help us, then fair enough. And he's came in and done great work, and he's taken on a wee bit more and more, which is good. And hopefully he gets something not too big because we want to keep him, but
absolutely. I think even always play the year stuff there on kind of Sunday was magnificent. I think it was very well received as well, and minimal typos and everything else.
That was good. I wasn't anywhere near it.
I actually sat next to him and he was saying how much he's actually really been enjoying it and things, and I think his terminology was, it's weird seeing it on a screen. He was like, it's obviously always on a laptop screen, but we had big huge tellies, and he was like, that's me that done that. Like,
mate, and it's super.
Just a wee bit of realisation that
he's so talented, which I just love to see. Obviously, everything seems to be progressing, and one thing is he never started that long ago. I think probably just over 12 months he's been sort of self-taught and doing it now. So that's good. I'm so delighted for him, and that's the thing. It's just like, come on, go for living. Where are you going to end up next? Because whoever would have him would be very, very lucky to have him, I think.
Absolutely. From your perspective, you obviously work quite closely in conjunction with kind of Dave Black, who is our CEO, and Jen Dodds, who is club secretary, head of media, and football ops manager, I think, is our current title at the moment.
Whatever it's changed to now, yeah.
That isn't a regularity, I wouldn't imagine, at many other clubs, because we are so small and tight-knit and everything else. What's your experiences of working with them? That office has changed.
I think they're still trying to kick me out. I actually love working with the pair of them. As much as I have a laugh and joke, and they're trying to bin me out every opportunity and send me to my other office. But they've honestly, it's been such a great trio to be involved in. I think trying to be nice about Dave. I think he's a very good leader. I think he underplays the skills he's got. I think he possesses a lot of very key skills and knows how to get the best out of people. And he's quite good to learn off. And I think that probably one thing is he's been a Livy fan that might hold him back for where he wants to be because he loves the club. But Dave's been a massive help to me, both in the club and out the club. Yep. And I think the club's in a very good position because of all the hard work that he puts in. Yep. And don't get me wrong, have a good laugh. He's very witty when he wants to be, and I think there's that. He does manage that. He knows when to have fun and when to roll the sleeves up, and don't get me wrong, it's probably 90% he's rolling up his sleeves, and it's superb. And Jen, I was actually down there earlier this morning, and you better not talk about me on that podcast. Nope, I will not mention you.
Question 4, Jen Dodds.
Straight in. But to be fair, Jen, because all the way around, she was doing I think it was a business degree or something, or business management, I think. And she said about she was looking for a job, and I actually said, oh, well, I can have a word for you if you want, and I can say it. And I don't know, one thing led to another, and opportunity came up, and now she's at the football club. So Jen's really good to work with. I mean, I helped out with the women's team, as I said, and again took on more responsibilities and seeing more and more of Jen. And I think as a 19, 20-year-old football player to then be working alongside her
in the office and stuff, and she's got a lot of responsibility on her shoulders as well in terms of all the legalities and contracts and everything else that comes with that as well. So
sorting out visas and sorting out trips and.
I think I still remember it quite vividly. I think our first one was Ross County away last year, in about the December, January time. And that was when the bus broke down and everything else. And
because I think
it couldn't have went any worse almost.
Because it was, I don't know roughly how it all happened, but I think if it wasn't Celtic, the first home game.
I think it was. I think it was Dingwall Celtic. I think it was, or it might have been vice versa. But
it was something crazy like that, and it was the worst time to come into the football club. Throw
yourself in the deep end, and
she came out.
Look at her now; she's absolutely fine, isn't she?
No, it's great. It's great to see again. I love personal growth. I love seeing people, progressing, and that's what she wanted to do, and she's doing, for what I see, very, very, very well. And again, she's very good to work with. She's very fun and very witty as well. I've got to be on my toes sometimes, but the pair of them are an absolutely brilliant pair to work with, and I really enjoy it.
Talk to me about those pre-match press conferences.
Oh, can we not?
So, just for a little bit of context, these were last year run through whether it be papers or the BBC, or they would send dedicated people in to do these because we were in the Premier League. So as soon as we got relegated last year, we're like, okay, it's more in-house. We can kind of control our questions a bit more. We can advertise what we want to advertise. We can ask what we want to ask, rather than, okay, here's a bit of a staple answer. You probably get more out of Davey because it's you.
I can say that.
Or somebody in-house. But obviously you didn't want to do it. That's not where you thought your forte was, but...
Nah, I still absolutely hate it. It's the worst thing that I probably do.
Dreading a Thursday morning when you get up.
So the players are normally off for Thursday. So
Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning, aye. But I can always see it far enough. Who it is? Who am I? The thing is, the common denominator is always me and Davey. And then it's like a player. So the player's probably a wee bit more fun, shall we say? But to be fair, as the season's grown on, I've actually secretly really enjoyed it. I think
Now you've admitted that.
I know. It's actually been really good. I think the relationship that me and Davey have built it's been good. I think he'll tell you otherwise, but I think it's been good. I'm sticking to it. But I think again, Davey's probably put a wee bit of trust in me, and he likes to. I think that's one of the things he likes to just see people about the building working, which is good. Not me, because I don't work and I'm not in the building. But no, I think. When it came to it, I don't like the sound of my own voice. I don't like asking. I don't know what to ask. I'm probably somebody that's really relevant in terms of reading what's the current trends and what's going on and what's happening. And David just wants to come in and absolutely rip my Crocs, which is why I still wear them. So
it's an easy one, though. Isn't it?
Yeah, but I think the more and more we've got on, I think we've realised what sort of pushes each other and what's the sort of right thing, and there's never been really many disagreements, and I've always said to him, like, do you want the questions pre-hands, and he's always says no. I'd rather just whatever's coming out is coming out, and just be on it, open and honest about it, which is probably quite good. But when there's opportunity potentially going into the playoffs, which obviously we are now in, and the first thing he did say was has to deal with me 4 times, so that was pleasing. But that was to be fair, I actually really enjoy it, and it's good, and building that relationship with Davey and the players. Again, I don't really deal with the players that much, but obviously in coming to pressers and that, it's good in finding out a wee bit about them, and there's some stuff that obviously doesn't go out, but I've tried to find out what everyone's favourite dinosaur was, and everyone just comes back with a T-Rex.
Did the same at the sponsors night, because I think it was me, Gowser, and Jamie Brandon. I was like, "What's your favourite boy band?" Because we're sitting on the wee stools and everything else. I was like, "Perfect opportunity." Both went, "Just take that."
Take massive cop out.
Stephen Kelly again. Take that. It's like,
it's because of us heard take that, but again,
we all know it's A1.
I don't know what my favourite boy band was. O-Town.
Very good, very good.
But the guys have been superb, and I've actually really enjoyed it, and it's never been a chore. What I will say is, depending on how the games sort of flow, and because that's the thing, we need to fit it in, and in the morning's always a struggle because I'm still half asleep, but the afternoon pressers are good because me and Davey are both on the ball, and we can go a bit back and forward before we actually get going.
How difficult can it be? So I obviously do post-match kind of straight after the game, so emotions are still quite high and things like that at times, so maybe need to be a wee bit more tactical in terms of what you are going to ask depending on what's happened within the game. Because you've got that kind of 4 or 5 day gap period, do you feel sometimes you get a more kind of thought through answer, if that makes sense, rather than kind of off the cuff and emotions are still high and maybe conceded a late goal or whatever it may be, but maybe after that having that time to digest?
I would
get a wee bit more out of them.
I would say that. I think that's a wee bit better. Like, we always try and play it off as what happened previously, what we're looking forward to, and if there is anything relevant, then we would maybe bring it in. But I find that easier, and because I know how I'm dealing with people, as in, Davey probably likes to expand on his answers, whereas probably 90% of players will answer the question. So in terms of how my flow is, it makes it a wee bit easier for me because I know the players are going to ask that question, and I know they're not going to ask the question straight down, like, they're going to fill in, whereas there's been a few times where improvise is not my strong point, or spelling. But when it comes to, Davey, I know he'll maybe go on a wee bit, and me understanding how he is makes it a wee bit easier for me. So, but you
need to be quite adjustable throughout it, though, don't you? Because I know post-match for me, for example, what I used to do was I used to just kind of 5, 6, 7 talking points potentially of something that maybe happened within the game, and then I would try and write exact questions down when I first started, and I've never interviewed anybody before. Then getting thrown in front of Davy Martindale, I was like, what's going to happen here? And I remember the very first one, and he rhymed off all kind of 7 points that I'd written down in question 1. And I was like, where'd I go now? Like, what happens next? So now I've just got like 15 points, and it's like, right, okay, he's talk that. Oh, right, cool, that one. Like,
happened there? Yeah.
And throw it in there. But
again, it's just...
I think it's a good thing, though. I'm not saying that's a negative, that it's good that you get kind of expansive answers, because you go and do listen to other managers, and their interviews are 2 minutes at a time, but it's 2 minutes of how do you think the game went? It was all right. Not much else. Like,
That's you. It's McCloskey to the Player of the Year.
How's it feel to win the award? Yep. Thanks, Macaulay. Chipping in. You've touched on that a few times in terms of kind of just doing different bits and everything else, whether that be Twitter, graphics, organising stadium cleans, for example, after games. That's kind of what this club is built on, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I think having the right personnel in and around the building has been very good. And yeah, everyone will chip in, and even like organising Player of the Years or events, or, you know, we've got the 30 years of Livingston coming up, which we're trying to get everyone to chip in for. But yeah, if there's stuff needing helped, or I think that's what the whole place is built on. You know, no one walks past anyone without saying hello or morning, or which is probably really good, I think, and it sets a good culture within the place. And even last season, it's always been like that, and it's not that it says it's encouraged, but I think that's just how it's sort of set up. But everyone will chip in, and that's the thing. People do things to the detriment of themselves, as long as it's sort of done. And as you say, the stadium clean as well. Like, someone has to take charge, and someone's responsible for having the keys. So, it's just probably what the club's built on, really.
Absolutely. I think you touched on earlier as well that in terms of if you're not a fan, then you relatively quickly become a fan. I think my commentary's been a wee bit emotional at times this season with last minute winners and everything else, but you know what? It's because once you're in this kind of environment, because there's not that many people, you understand what it means to people. How drastically their Monday is going to change if we ship a last minute winner or if we score a last minute winner. But it just makes such a difference, kind of having those kind of Karen and Jude at the front, for example, and then we've got Mo and up the stairs, and kind of you three in the office, and a couple of maintenance men. That's really about it, kind of off-field staff, but it does make a massive difference, doesn't it?
Nah, it does. I think people buy in, because it's quite easy to buy in, but I think recruiting the right people to buy in is probably quite a big thing. But I think everyone does it, but most of the people in and about the club are sort of supporters or fans, and which is good. I think I was actually speaking to Sean Elderbrand, obviously, and he's gloating about winning the league, and as you do, I was speaking about Sean, and he had said about Falkirk, and I think he's sort of leaving there, and he's left on a very good high. It's just great to see again. He came into Livingston as a Falkirk fan, did absolutely superb, and I just said to him, I was just like, don't you forget where you got all this from. You came to Livingston. None of this started at Falkirk. But I said to him, I said, there's nothing like doing it for your own club. Like, no matter what you do, how you do it, it's never going to be the same. Yeah. The emotions, how you are, and it's that whole fight or flight thing. Like, you don't know until you're in that position, and
Absolutely.
And it just hits different when it's for your club that you've supported for since you've been a wee boy.
Aye, that's it. On Sean, like, say he's been at Falkirk this season and last season as well, kind of Invincibles and whatnot. But again, somebody else who's now got an opportunity within the kind of freelance world to go and showcase kind of his talents as well. I think he said that the first time he was on the BBC Sports Scene Highlights or whatever, raced home after he'd kind of filmed him in his wee kind of studio and whatnot, and sat with his granny and just watched his name pop up on the telly, and he just said it was the best moment of his life. Like,
but that's the thing. The springboard for people to come in and do some superb stuff like that is brilliant. And, you know, we've listed Aaron, we've listed Scott, Hilfie, like even myself. Callum Brown, you know, they went over to France and
in sports. So.
And it's done superb, and he's back doing freelance stuff. And again, it's absolutely amazing to see, like, people going up in the world and having the opportunity and going grabbing it. And again, Sean's done the exact same thing. And like, you ask anybody, like, we've probably done it ourselves. You're making a graphic going, that's all I want to see now is where it's going, and it's just superb. You're going home to see your name, and because you just don't think those opportunities come to people like us, and they do. And if you put the effort in and you put the work in, and I mean, even for sort of Sean and Callum, like the amount of research and things that they need to do is incredible. You know, you see their notes and think you've done it yourself, and it's just like, this is a bit much, and I like seeing people's efforts rewarded with good stuff.
Absolutely. Couple more bits to talk. Let's speak about your kind of day, week, month, year, for example.
Uh-huh.
How, I know you've got your diary and your wee highlighters and everything else that comes with that, but how does your
Outed me.
Crocs, highlighters, diary.
Can't spell.
Can't spell. It's going well. How does your kind of planning come to fruition? How do you come up with your day, week, month, year?
If you ask anyone at the football club, I didn't do any work. But to be fair, there's a lot of planning and without going down the strategic plan and pillars and posts and all that sort of jargon, as they say. Like we have meetings. We have a meeting at the start of the year, what we want to do, how we're going to do it, how we're going to achieve it. Then we've been having regular meetings to talk about what does it look like in the future, what's the here, what's the now, what's the 1 month, 2 months, 6 months. You know, we're looking at 30 years of Livingston that they have done for over a year now. Scott Pittman's testimonial. So there's probably a lot of stuff that's sort of in there. So you've got the day-to-day stuff, you've got the monthly stuff, you've got the yearly stuff. And I think some of it's reactive, some of it's very planned, and I get it. Some of the stuff you have to put out is quite boring and quite no great. But I think when there's a good mix, it's good, and fundamentally it's winning games of football. I think that's what
makes life so much easier.
It makes my life so much easier and everyone else's with the club. But I always plan week to week. Don't really look too far past the first game. Made it a wee bit easier with ticket fan base, taking that on that platform, which has been helpful definitely for ticket sales and making it accessible and easier for people, which has been good even just for socials that people can go on and get. But I sort of, my Sunday nights planning what's happening this week, what we've got going on, what's happening, sort of Blair and Hilfey and what they've got, and Dave's touching into that along with Jude, because obviously there's hospitality and things like that, and then there's commercial side of things, and we're selling stuff, we're wanting people to buy stuff, there's things that are open, and what's the stuff that has to go out every week, what has to go out before every match. So obviously like a Saturday, for example, if there's a home game, there's probably quite a lot, and there's the match day hype, then you've got the programmes, and then the club shop and what's open and what's closed and when.
Last meetings and things like that.
Yeah, and then you've got the match interviews and then the tweets and then the lineup, and you know when the lineup goes out at specific times, and because it can't be too soon, it can't be too early, and it's probably dedicated. I think there's a couple of times I went a wee bit late, and that's probably just because I was like, oh, I need to do that. But week to week, there's quite a lot of stuff, and monthly there is quite a lot of stuff. But as you say, I've got my diary with my highlighters and my Papermate pens that keep me right. But again, that's just for me to physically see what's happening, what's going on, what's been done, and then obviously feeding it to other people. So I'll probably do most of the tweets on Facebook. Blair's done a superb job on Instagram, so that's his thing. Very photo heavy, very non-graphic. It's looking very good. It's grown quite a wee bit, which has been superb, and his work's been absolutely amazing. But like even after games, it's video content, and I just sort of leave him to deal with, after games, highlights, goals, good mornings with your coffee. That's the thing. And the YouTube's growing, and TikTok's been going very well, and sort of YouTube shorts, and we've got again Spotify. That's something new that we've sort of tested, but again that's down to you and Blair that have sort of taken control of that, which is superb. And again, it's just probably the hardest thing is liaising with everyone. And what do you need? What do I need? What's going out? When's it going out? When do you need that for? And there's probably things like stuff for the league, some boring stuff, some exciting stuff, and they're telling you like 20 minutes before it's to go out, or they're telling you 3 or 4, 5 days in advance, and you've got to keep it to yourself. And that's why I try and not speak to anyone, just because folk ask, "What's the lineup? What's happening?" But yeah, it's probably just keeping everything connected and right, and just keeping everyone up to date. And we've got a couple of WhatsApp groups that allow that to make it a wee bit easier. But everyone knows their role, and it probably helps me. But yeah, I'm quite a I like to do a lot of planning, and definitely my week ahead, as I said on the Sunday, but there's always something that throws a spanner in the works, and it's going at the same time, or you're changing that. It's got to go. So I really enjoy that side of things, and it's quite good. But thinking up stuff and how it's going to look and how it's going to sound and your tone, and we've probably got a serious but fun sort of tone about us, which we can get away with.
Yep.
And I think we're probably quite lucky that everyone that's involved has got the same sort of sense of humour, same sort of way of speaking, which makes it a wee bit easier. But it can be it can be very, very challenging, but it's very, very rewarding as well.
Couple of quick fires in and around the lads this season. Who's the biggest character that you've come across?
Oh, biggest character. To be fair, everyone I've came around's been good fun. Very welcoming as well. Maybe Reese. Reese has been a bit of a character about the place and have a bit of a nibble at each other occasionally. But Reese has been good. I've been enjoying Ryan McGowan and Andy McKenzie go at each other for a bit of fun. That's been good. Gowser's a bit of a character, quite like. Robbie Muirhead, he can be a bit loud and
fully fun.
Fully fun. But other than that, as I say, I don't really deal with them on a day-to-day. But I would probably say they two are probably the biggest characters.
Favourite ever Livingston player?
David Bingham.
Straight off the cuff.
It's never even in doubt at any point.
Straight off the cuff.
And because we actually spoke about this the other day, that he came to Keeky's testimonial.
That's right, actually.
And Blair, that was the first time he'd sort of seen him, because he obviously supported them a wee bit after and came a wee bit younger. I think that's the more important part. And he was just like, it was incredible to watch. I was like, that was literally David Bingham at his peak at Livingston when you seen him at his testimonial. He's incredible, his vision, his passing. And I think I played at that point, and I played in his position, and it was that point I just used to come and watch Bingham. That's all I came to learn, and how he done it, and his awareness, and what he done, and how he opened up his body, and how he fainted left to right, and everything about him was just superb. I'll never admit that to him, but if he watches, I was a big fan.
Try to get you on, David.
But I think there was one game he came in, co-coms to Hibs, and afterwards, it was a surreal moment. Like, I loved David Bingham, loved watching him. I think he was here 4 years, whatever, and I'd been here since 96, 97, I think. 97 into the 98 season, and just loved. And then he was co-coms, and finished. Everyone's done, ready to go, and he just comes over and goes, "You need to relax, big man." I was just like, I just get so into the games. But being a fan, it's a surreal moment for me anyway.
Absolutely. Last question. 5-a-side team, Livingston players only.
Oh, I've done this a few times. I need to remember who I picked. Current, anyone, doesn't matter. No rules.
No rules. Goalkeeper, one defender, two midfielders and a striker.
Oh. Notable mentions, I know I like saying that. I was a big fan of Nicky Kilkin and Brotto. I was a big fan of Brotto. Yeah. Although Jerome's been very good as well. Some of the saves he's pulled off has been incredible. Jerome's been very good. Neil Alexander for the two spells. Yep. Other than that, I've not really been too spoiled with some amazing goalies, but if I was to push come to shove, because it was a great time and I loved it, I would have to say, sorry Jerome, I'd say Brotto. Just that Brotto kick that was incredible to Fernandez's feet. And I think I went into being a goalkeeper, and that was always why we hit the ball up in the air when, it's going to go to a big centre half or whatever. It's just like, I can hit it low and to somebody than, to a centre half's head. So, I would say Brotto.
One defender?
Probably like left field, but I actually really like John Anderson. I thought he was very good. He was a very good player, and maybe, but back then as well, Graham Coughlin. I like big. got called psycho, but I don't think he liked it, to be fair. I think he's done all right in the game since he's left Livy, to be fair, which has been good. Marvin Andrews, Rubio, they were the two big ones probably for me. If I was to pick, I would probably go Marvin Andrews. I loved Marv, just like won the ball, no nonsense, big tackles. Like, I think
he did it 100 yards.
It was incredible. It wasn't even that tall either, as well. I think Jim Leishman has said they beat us. Was it 3 or 4-0? And Alex Burns, Stevie Tosh, and Marvin Andrews scored all the goals, and we just bought them. We went on to win the league, I think it was. But Marv was superb. I loved watching him just for that no nonsense
approach.
Loved that.
2 midfielders, solid start.
Oh, Keno's probably.
Keno would be in for me.
He was just incredible. He scored goals, his passing, his awareness, his touch. It was almost like he shouldn't have been at Livingston. It was weird.
Can you imagine that conversation between Jim Leishman and Keno?
That would have been very strange, to be fair. I would probably go. Keno's definitely being there, and I don't even think he'll ever see it. But Scott Pittman's definitely in with a shout. He's just been a club legend. What's it? Nearly 500 appearances for over 400, I think.
He'll be about
50 goals.
Circa 420 now, give or take.
50 goals. Been incredible. Big goals. Been at it 10 years. Not many people get a testimonial.
Yep.
I would probably have to go. But then, so this is where I'm at, right? I love Pitts. Big fan. But then if there's only one striker, and you've got Fernandes, Barry Wilson, David Bingham.
Midfield, is that what you're saying?
Sorry, Pitts, but I'm going to have to put Bingham in midfield because he was just like, he's just my favourite, best ever player. So sorry, Pitts.
Might not take that well. He's definitely not interviewing now.
Nah, I'll tell him not to watch this.
Definitely not interviewing. Give me that forward then.
Back in the day, obviously there was Jason Young, Lee Bailey. And then, I don't know why I liked him, but Dan Keith. I was a big fan of Dan when he came. Marino Keith. Yeah. I don't know why we called him Dan, but Marino Keith was incredible. Fernandes obviously was out of this world. He was so good. And I think having so many memories attached to what he done, like his left foot was incredible. Yeah. I mean, Ian Russell, I know Blair loves him. I got mentioned, but
Brian McPhee.
Do you know what? Brian McPhee was superb when he was here. He scored some big goals and scored a lot of goals actually. He was superb, and back then he was class, and he always came up with a goal. But then there's even short spells like John Robertson scored big goals, and he was superb. And even later on, we've had Mark McNulty and let's go with Fernandes.
I thought it would be the same. something quite iconic. I know it's obviously a much lesser scale, but
those predators
with that ball,
the hair,
just magnificent.
Spanish flair,
just magnificent. I think that's it, Hack. From a media perspective, I think we've covered everything off. So thank you very, very much for your input.
Thanks for having me. There'll be the lowest viewed podcast you'll have, which is going to be superb. I'll take that claim.
But thank you very much for coming on. Really appreciate it. This is Down the Vale, a little different episode today in terms of our media strategy and everything that comes with that, with our media man, David Badura. Thanks very much for tuning in, really appreciated, and remember you can check out everything that Taylor Talks Trades and Taylor Roofs do in our description box below.